Hello, Gemini, and welcome to your September reading. Let's go ahead and get started here with an oracle card. So what is it that Gemini needs to know for the month of September? We start with the Yin card. Beautiful. So this is a really deeply feminine energy. It's more receptive. It's more free-flowing. Has a lot to do with kind of taking that step back and being more observing. I think this is a perfect time for that, actually, because as we come into September, we're building up to that full moon eclipse in Pisces, which is going to be conjunct Neptune. And I think the more you're capable of kind of stepping back, the less susceptible you'll be to delusions or deception, okay? So I'm not suggesting that all of us are going to be experiencing these really, bizarre experiences, but I think it's good to keep a level head on your shoulders. It looks like that Yin energy is just exactly what you need in order to do that. There's a lot of creativity that can flow through this Yin card as well, as you kind of tap into that more inspired place. And, there can be some really cool ideas that come your way as well. So what else does Gemini need to know? We have boundaries. Where do you need to establish better boundaries? Honestly, with this moon conjunct Neptune, I think boundaries is a really important message. There might be a person, we'll see what the tarot cards have to say, but there might be a person specifically, like at least one, maybe multiple, but at least one person that you're going to really need to set that firm, like, this is what I will accept and this is what I will not accept. And it might mean a loss because, again, conjunct Neptune, right, in Pisces, there's often an element of sacrifice that must be involved. But for the sake of your peace of mind, likely there might be something that is worth the sacrifice so that you're not giving so much of yourself into something that is draining you, or into something or into someone that doesn't care, right? So we want to make sure we're putting ourselves in places where we can thrive. And in order to do that, we need to set boundaries with the people and places and things that do not help us thrive. Okay. Let's see what else. What else do we need to know here for the month of September for Gemini? Okay, we have the Three of Coins. So there's the relationships coming through. The Hierophant. Hold on, I feel like this card right here wants to come out. That was the bottom card. And the Four of Swords. Okay. So when I talk about relationships with the Three of Coins, I don't necessarily mean romantic, although it could be. But usually the Three of Coins are more productive types of connections. There's a lot of creative flow. There's a lot of collaboration, a lot of communication, working together, teamwork, that kind of thing. And this might be the scenario in which you need to set those boundaries. The good news is with the Three of Coins, normally I see people really showing up. Normally I see people, matching what you're willing to give. So I don't necessarily with this card see the problematic issue, but maybe it's not problematic because you're being firm and assertive, because you're really sitting there saying, this is what I want, this is what I need, this is what I need you to do, this is what I'm going to do, right? Where there's very clear expectations, the roles are clearly defined, and everyone knows what they're supposed to do, and there's a system of accountability in place. With the Hierophant in the very center of the card, in the center of the spread, I'm sensing an element of stubbornness. It feels really firmly rooted. So Gemini, I don't see you being easily swayed or seeing you easily manipulated or anything like that. I'm not seeing you falling for anything that you shouldn't be falling for. Again, really clear, level-headed energy coming through. That's probably because you're naturally tapping into that yin space. The yin can be very detached because it's internalized. So there's a lot of hyper self-awareness that happens. And that can be a good thing. And I think right now it's a good thing. It's kind of a little protection mechanism you have going on. The Hierophant also really understands his own self-worth. And I think self-worth is a big message that's coming through for Virgo season and even on into Libra season. We need to maintain, and make the choices that keep us on that higher level, that keep us up here. So we're not, pulling ourselves down for anyone or anything. The Hierophant is so deeply connected with truth and with God and spirit and the divine. It's so unbendable. So the stubbornness is not coming from ego. It's not coming from because you think you're right and everyone else is wrong, right? It's not coming from that type of a place. It's coming from, I am rooted in the divine and therefore I'm an untouchable, right? And therefore there are certain things that I can and cannot accept in my life, hence the boundaries. And there are certain people with whom I will not have conversations or entertain doing business with or whatever. Please do not be afraid to walk away from things right now. I think walking away from things is actually a much better strategy if you're really not getting what you need from it. And I don't say, again, getting what you need. It's not all about you, right? But there has to be that mutuality. There has to be the equality, 100, everyone getting equal effort. And it will be in contrast because with the Three of Coins, it seems like there are people with whom are giving, there are people, if I could talk, there are people who are giving 100. So when someone doesn't give 100, it's obvious. And that's your moment to say, I'm willing to give 100, but if you're not, then this isn't an equal match. And probably we're both better off if I go my way and you go your way. If we're not really going to do this, if we're not really going to participate full on together and have these clearly defined roles and each fulfill the expectations of that role, then there is no point. So I'm seeing you, again, the assertiveness is really important. And it's not emotional. Like, this is not even a personal thing. It's not that you are saying this to someone trying to attack their character. It's just, hey, logically, this doesn't make sense. Logically, this isn't fair. So let's each put ourselves in situations where we can thrive because this isn't it. And I think you'll have a lot of peace of mind with that Four of Swords. The more rooted you are in that truth, the more connected to that state of peace that you are, the less confusion and the less doubt you'll have. And the more willing you are to make the sacrifice. Because I do think that moon in Pisces is 100% asking us to make a sacrifice of some sort. So, but sometimes those sacrifices are something we are willing to make. Sacrificing potential of something especially. Okay? I don't know that this is really the time to fight for something if there's an inkling of a doubt. If you're 100% full in, 100% sure, then yes, by all means, fight for it. But if you're not 100% all in, fully sure, then probably it's worth it to walk away. Okay, or at least set a boundary with it, so it doesn't consume you or it doesn't take over. So it's not the center of your life. You want to make sure that you are the center of your life, so that you and your loved ones are taken care of. 8 of Coins. 10 of Swords. And 10 of Cups. Now, the thing about the astrology right now, with Pluto dipping back into Capricorn especially, is that this is not a time of deep transformation so much as it is a time of official endings. Like, this is the end of the end, final exam, it's done, And that 10 of Swords is the suggestion that, something that has been around for a long time is 100% coming to a close. And it is important for us to let it die off. And when I say die off, I mean completely eliminate it from your life. This is true for certain people. This is true for mindsets and patterns that you have. especially like the internal stuff. That's a big one. But there are going to be some external things too. Some of you are going to be leaving an industry and never going back. Some of you are going to be leaving relationships and never going back. And there's no notion of ever entertaining that situation ever again. It's like a true and real final goodbye. Because any more involvement in that scenario or in that relationship or in that pattern or whatever, any more involvement, any more that you feed, first of all, you already know that you can't get any more from it. You're never going to get any more from it. You already know that you are kind of positioned in such a way that you've maxed out. Okay. So any more effort, you're never going to get any more than what you've put in. No, that doesn't make sense. You're never going to get any more out of it than what you already have. So clearly that's not good enough. And if you choose to stay there, that's kind of an element of playing the victim a little bit. And I don't think Gemini really wants to do that. I don't think Gemini is wanting to continue to do the same thing, knowing exactly what's going to happen in sheer hope. But hope is not really hope. It's more fear disguised in a delusion of hope. I just don't think you want to be the victim. I don't think you want to be in that place where, because in comparison to the 10 of Cups right next to it, again, it's such a stark contrast. And the 10 of Cups is so much about your ultimate happiness. And I think you're coming to the conclusion here that there is no happiness found in continually keeping this alive. There is just no happiness at all. There is no benefit. There is no one wins in the 10 of Swords. You certainly don't win. And if you don't win, then all your loved ones don't win either. So, I think it's very clear that if you keep it alive, then you're just kind of doing it to yourself at that point and you have no one else to blame. So the changes are absolutely being made under the 8 of Coins. Now, I love the 8 of Coins because to me, and especially with the Yin card, there's a lot of flow that comes through that 8 of Coins. And the 8 of Coins is kind of the magician energy in physical form, where you kind of take the initial idea or the initial spark of desire and you channel it through your body to make it happen in your reality. This is you absolutely being the creator. So the question is do you want to create the 10 of Swords or do you want to create the 10 of Cups? Obviously, you want to create the 10 of Cups because this is where the happiness and fulfillment and satisfaction is, where this is where, again, the victimhood, the martyrdom, the repeat over and over type of thing is, and no one really wants to be there. Unless you're really clinging on or unless you have like control issues or something like that. But ultimately, I think most people are looking at that 10 of Cups and say, like, even just the thought of that 10 of Cups emotional fulfillment feels like a sense of relief. And Gemini, I think you are looking for a new station in life or looking for a new place that will give you some relief. Definitely seeing a lot of joy, definitely seeing a lot of happiness, that you are specifically making your decisions one by one with the 10 of Cups at heart. Every decision is rooted in what is going to get me to that 10 of Cups. Not get me as though it's a destination. It's not really a destination. It's a state of being. So what situations, what decisions can you make? What boundaries can you set that can ensure that you will blossom into that 10 of Cups, into that state of happiness and joy? What else? What else, Gemini? 9 of Coins. Self-worth, again, coming through with that card. 10 of Wands. And the Queen of Cups. Okay. One of the reasons why I love the Queen of Cups so much is that she is deeply rooted in her intuition, and she relies upon her intuition a lot when it comes to making decisions. And with the Yin card, that's perfect. And this comes from a quiet inner being So when it comes to dealing with others, it's like the noisier it is, the less likely you are to get involved, the less likely you are to listen. I think Gemini is not in a position right now where they should be listening to the loud voices, because the loud voices are remnants or empty echoes of the past. They are not indications of your future. And I think the past right now is a really strong theme, specifically so you get a chance to do it the best possible way. So if you have things throughout September, October, November, if you have things that resurface, if you have things that resurrect or rise, or if you have new circumstances that come online that are reminiscent of old ones, this is your chance to do it right. It's kind of like a do-over. This is a do-over moment, but it's not a do-over in terms of necessarily getting a second chance and getting what you never had. It's more a second chance at responding in the way that you should have responded the first time. Like, for example, let's take a dating example. Let's say you were really in love with an emotionally unavailable person, really loved them, wanted a relationship with them, but it never worked out. Well, let's say they come back and say, hey, I'm interested, let's give it a shot. But then they start behaving in the same way. This is your chance to draw the line and walk away, and for you to end it with your dignity intact. Okay? That's more of what I mean. It's not about revival. It's not really about second chances with like bringing something back to life so much as it is a second chance in terms of how you respond to it, the way you should have responded the first time. Okay? Sorry, now I'm repeating myself over and over. But let's talk about this Nine of Coins, because it is so connected with our sense of self-value, how our own self-respect as well. There's a lot of attainment that happens with the Nine of Coins. It's really important, Gemini, that you take a moment and acknowledge how far you've come. Now, Geminis specifically Gemini risings too, have really been through the ringer over the past 15 years, because not only was all the Capricorn stuff happening, we all had that happen, but for you it was in the 8th house, which is a very challenging house, okay? I do think Gemini got hit, really hard. I know Capricorns got hit hard, Cancers got hit hard. We all got hit hard in our own ways, but to go through that in the 8th house, I can't even begin to imagine. So I know that it's been a whole thing, but through that whole thing for the past 15 years, you've grown exponentially. You've developed, you've learned how to understand yourself. And this is your chance to really live into that high value. It's your chance to be up here. That's why boundaries are also really important. Please do not be afraid to tell people no, or to screw off, or leave me alone, never call. Don't be afraid to block if you have to. This is your opportunity to establish you as the person in control of your life. Decentralize everything else that is not a priority. Decentralize things that are not healthy. Centralize the things that are: your family, your children, your loved ones, your career, your finances, right? Centralize the things that matter so that you can only continue to grow. With the 10 of Wands, I am seeing that you absolutely have the will to really do the work that it takes. And I think there is some work involved. I don't know that September is going to be the easiest month. I really don't. I'm not saying great things can't happen. We do have the 10 of Cups. There could be wonderful things that happen. And to be honest, like the moon conjunct Neptune, there can be some really good things that happen there. Neptune, I personally am not a huge fan of Neptune, but I have seen incredible miracles happen. So as deceptive as he can also be a source of great healing. And there can be little miracles that come through, and there can be a lot of manifestation that happens. So it's not all bad, but I also know that you are putting yourself in that vibrational state with the 10 of Wands, with the 8 of Coins. I know that Gemini is showing up fully embodying the person that they see themselves as. So everything else that lies beyond this vision is just simply not going to work. So you have a very close circle tied around you. Very few people, and I do like the Three of Coins because I do think there are people with whom you can collaborate and do wonderful things. You know, there can be a lot of great progress in your projects or pitching clients or new marketing initiatives, or maybe there's a new relationship, right? There are things that are working. So that's where the investment needs to be. That's where your focus, time, and energy and attention should be, because they're not going to, people involved with the Three of Coins, they are not going to try to shake you off of this throne with that Hierophant energy. They're not going to try to get you to deviate from truth. And I don't mean your truth, I mean like the divine truth, okay? And they're not going to try to get you or pull you or do anything like that. They're going to support you and love you, and they're going to collaborate with you and help you in the way that you're going to help them. Okay? And your intuition, like, you have to follow your gut on this one. And I think the hardest part is like when you know, like if you know that someone is just making false promises, sometimes that can just really put a hole in your stomach, right? It's just like, ugh. Because they've done it before, or you've heard it before, or it's so reminiscent of something from the past. When you know, you know. And I think the hardest part for Gemini is just admitting that you know, because again, the hope that things really have changed, the hope that this person really is different, the hope that maybe it will go differently this time, it's not real, okay? This is the deception of Neptune. Now, if someone wants to prove to you over a long period of time, fine, by all means. But if it's just promises or if it's just talk, I would be very, very cautious, okay? Because again, that intuition is probably like, oh, well, here we are again. When we know, it's not going to be any different. So, you're going to have to step back, Four of Swords, do the meditations, really process how you feel, process what's really going on, be as brutally honest as you possibly can so that you can make the best possible decision. All right, we're going to pull out the clarifiers now. So we're going to pull out a whole bunch of new cards, talk for another 25 to 30 minutes about all these cards. So if you want to join, the links for the comprehensive are in the description box and the pinned comment thread down below. So let's go ahead and get started by clarifying the Three of Coins. What is it that Gemini needs to know for the Three of Coins? Another Eight of Coins. I love that, because there is going to be a lot of productivity and a lot of progress for you. Another Nine of Coins, and then a Star card. Page of Coins, Page of Wands, Eight of Cups. Not really a big fan of those pages, I'll be honest. Page of I don't know why I can't talk right now. Four of Swords with the Fool, the Hermit, beautiful. Ace of Cups, Justice. Now for the Ten of Swords, we have the Five of Cups. There's the Sacrifice, right? Another Queen of Cups. I do feel like at some point you're going to have a sinking feeling in your gut. I really do. Or your heart's going to be very disappointed. Someone is going to disappoint you, or someone is going to, confirm how right you are. And I don't think that's really what you want. Four of Swords, another Ten of Cups. The Lovers, King of Swords, Six of Swords, Three of Swords. Beautiful. I'm loving that. Yeah, loving that. 10. All right. All right, Gemini, this is where we're going to pick up in the comprehensive. All right, so if you want to join, you are more than welcome. Thank you all so much. Hope you have an amazing September, and I'll talk to you soon.